If you on, let me know. Let me know. Just coming on. I know that everybody's getting ready for the game. Um, to me, I did a video. I talked about it. I said Mahomes against Lamar is the real Super Bowl for discussion. I know some people get mad. What's up? What's up? How you doing? Can you hear me okay? If you can hear me, give me the thumbs up. Let me know if you can hear me. Definitely be on here for like an hour and a half. That's what I'm saying. The two of them. The two of them. Jared Goff and Brock Purdy. Mm, cool, cool. Oh, ever go to Patreon and let me know if you ever do. So if you can see this, see if I can get it. Hold on just a second. Let me see if so if you can see that, that's me on Patreon. So if you ever want to get on there and we do a chat on there, let me know. I haven't really put the links on everything like that, but it's Mr. Max with 3X's. So if you ever want, just gonna show you one more time. That's the thing. Just putting it there. So yeah, just let me know. Anyway, but and the sad part about it is these are interesting times. Roles are reversed. I might have to do a video about that tomorrow because Jared Goff is the white dude no one wants to claim. It's kind of like he just for the ride. And Brock Purdy went from a guy they try to call Joe Montana Jr. like to a guy that's just stand out the way and let McCaffrey go off or Debo go off. So it's kind of interesting. I've never seen that before with two white quarterbacks on this tier of a level. But white mediocre quarterbacks. But see, this is another thing that we're dealing with too. This is the first white quarterbacks that are considered mediocre or just kind of like playmate role, kind of like game managers with head coaches who outweigh them, but are they dynamic? Like, just tell Kyle Shanahan wins a chip, he's not dynamic. And Dan Campbell is just meat and potatoes. So just saying. That's kind of how I look at it. But anyway, it's interesting. All right, it's interesting. And then tomorrow, let's talk about definitely great. You know, lazy. Yeah, be better because I don't know if a black coach would have gotten. Especially when you got a so-called championship Super Bowl caliber team. I don't think you get those kind of many looks if you're black. I just don't. To me, it's put up or shut up. That's how I feel. If he don't win a ring, forget going to the Super Bowl. He got to win a ring because he didn't give up Trey Lance, gave up half the team. You got to bring it now. So it's kind of like okay. So that's my thought. That's my thought. So that's kind of how I look at it. But yeah, if he don't win, he is a bum. He is a bum coach. And something in your system, and give me the drum roll. You got Baker Mayfield looking like a legit that alone. I'm sorry, I'm not the big field fan. They got that turkey looking legit. Kellen Moore didn't really do much to get Dak more than what he was. And Herbert, that was a nightmare. And for the protection, for the direction, I call it like I see it all the time. I mean, I don't know how else to call it. It is racial because you're absolutely right. I just don't see it. And I would love it if Kellen Moore had a 10 win, 11 win team. Herbert had an incredible year. He was top five. And then that happened. And then that game against Dallas, they choked. So what am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that? So that's a bad joke. It's racist though. It is because Leftwich. I mean, you know, think about it. But that's what they do. Brothers have to wait long, and that's when we talk about the racism and the coaching. Because everybody's like, "Oh, what all the players?" I said, "Mm-hmm." And what? You know, talk about the players. What does that mean? Everybody can run out people on the plantation. Does that mean that they're actually getting to participate? Are they actually going to get to, to have a say? No. So I'm not trying to hear it though. I'm not trying to hear it. So Kellen Moore ain't showed me nothing except that he got the right complexion. I don't see nothing there. So see what's going on. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. I'm with you. I am with you. What's up, MM? How you living? Right on. He should. He should. He should. Uh, you know, I mean, how does a guy who is accomplished as the enemy get stuck with Sam Howell? What is Sam Howell gonna do for to show off your skill set? He should be. They get the love, and the reason why Randy Reed will get the love is because McNabb made him look good, and then he got a gold mine with Mahomes. That kind of goes with the territory. Sad to say, um, coordinators white get the love, and then they get to be go from genius. Paul Brown had the whole system with Bill Walsh, and then you got guys who operate up under, and then you blow up. But the enemy never got the opportunity. He never got the opportunity to really develop. And by the time he gets a head coaching job, he's gonna be stuck with a can quarterback. Because let's be realistic. When you get to coach Pat, that's like going from a Bentley to a pen. Call it, going from a car ride that is a whip, and then you go to a car ride you can jog backwards and beat it down the road because Sam Howell is, yeah, I mean, you know, so that's the sad kid. But a good point though. Had a lot. Oh, yeah, they racist, and Deshaun was a living proof of that. But they two things. They didn't want to come across as bigoted as they were. In light of their late owner, who talked about who's running the asylum, they didn't want to come off being racist because of what was said and was done. Land and they left because of the way Deshaun Watson was ran out. They really didn't have any real charges, so they trumped up charges. See, I did that. But don't go for the okie doke. They still bigoted though. They are. They are. Yeah. So, but yeah, good point. Those are good points. Well, Dak Prescott had a better track. I mean, at the time with Dak was a decent quarterback in Spurs, but Jerry was probably thinking of a Michael Vick type. What's a certain type of quarterback they're looking for? And they had to get faster because remember Barry Switzer had Troy Aikman running options and trying to run. So they had to get quicker. That's what they did. But, you know, it's good for tokenism. But we don't really remember Quincy Carter unless we football fans or you diehard Cowboy fans. You don't really talk about Quincy Carter. You really don't, you know. So that's just the fact. But you saw Prescott right with the Cowboys because if you remember, he really didn't want to part with Romo. And he still got bed sores behind Romo not being able to come back. He really wanted Romo. So just saying. That is real. So, you know. But it's a good mention of Quincy Carter. Been a long time since I heard that name. You know. You get more people will say Quincy Jones and Sean Carter than they'll say Quincy Carter. Just saying. So but a good mention. Good name drop. Yeah. So but Jerry had to get athletic. So that's what's up with that. Hmm. They ran it, and they were unathletic at that position. Yeah. Now, he's not a bum. He's a never was. Thank you, Malcolm. Yeah, he's a bum. He's not a bum. He's a never was. See, to be a bum, I'll give you an example of a bum commentator who got lazy after they were good. If you're talking about Hainsworth as a player, yes, because he could sign that big old contract. Yeah, that was a bum. Collinsworth's not a bum as a comic. He's a never was. He just got white boy privilege. Why he's sitting in the booth with Al Michaels? Al Michaels is great. Bum after a while, but he did the same old shtick. Some of them do. But Collinsworth was a never was. I never bought him as a commentator. Voice is okay to an extent, but he just gets bought and paid for. I don't really feel it. But he ain't the only one. But Albert Hainsworth, yeah, I'll give you that. Because he should have been a lot better than what they got. Definitely. Definitely. He was a never was to me. Because I never felt his commentating. I think he obviously he could talk X and O's and he was slurping his gig. To me, he was a never was as a coach too. I know Jordan liked him and he did enough to rah rah and got. I never felt him. So I just thought he's a never was. No, no, he's good. He and an interesting way he runs compliment Mahomes in ways because he's no he ain't gonna he's not going to oh Kareem Hunt and see he's the kind of back that Tony Pollard ain't big dude, but he hits them holes big. He plays chunky. He gets He's got like that Larry Johnson thing. He's aggressive in there, and that's why I was mad with the Bills because yep, you get it. You know what's up, Ted? He he was. I told you the Bills to beat them. They couldn't let him get going, and he got going, and he does. And I told you he's everything that Tony Pollard ain't. You know, and I hate to, but I gotta make that analogy because actually for a Kansas City back, they tend to like him a little bit more beefier and whatnot. But he hits them holes, and he's good. He he works in syncopation with him, so they got him a steal there. I think he got about. I think he's a thoroughbred. I think they can get 4 or 5 years out of him with Mahomes in his prime and his peak. They get another receiver, probably another secondary pickup. They're gonna be a handful. I think he's a good fit. He's a tough dude. So no, he's good. He's good. Now if he gets the money and he turns into like, then I'll call him a bum. But right now, he's on the right side, and I don't think he'll turn into a Jordan Poole and bum out and then become a new. So I think he's gonna be legit. And they always usually get it right with their running backs. Because you know, the cat that was a good fit there too when Mahomes is here. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Their biggest thing is having to punt and having to play field position against Kansas City. Keep the plays going. Be aggressive, but be smart. Don't turn the ball over. They got to fundamentally be in a situation where they stay in and they don't get themselves behind the eight ball. Because anything against Kansas City, even a half a look, that game could get out of hand. Let's not get it twisted. I wouldn't call Fred Taylor a bum. I think circumstance was good. He had great seasons. I don't look at him as a bum. Lost in there because he could have been better than he was. So yes, I have to say he was, but not Fred. I like Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor just one of those cats of circumstance. But Gore, yeah, I don't think. I used to call him Frank Bloody Gore. I just don't think that we got. I don't know. It's an MIA with him. Feels kind of incomplete. So yeah, you name them cats, I'm on it. Name your list of players. But Fred's gonna get a pass with me. Frank Gore, no, he's a bum. And to be honest with you, for all them yards he's got and what he accomplished, he's almost a never was. He almost, yeah, because he didn't really enhance more after a while. You almost kind of forgetting about him. You almost kind of forgetting about him. Been more, could have been more, could have been more. And when I say you woulda, coulda, should have been more, that means you settle for bum level. Could have been more. Could have been more. So did you cats think much about that Lakers Warriors game, or do you think the Lakers the refs are fixed for all them 27 more free throws, even though LeBron, you know, but too many refs. It could have been in bed with the ref. Oh, Merriman, Merriman. I'm going to say was because once the steroids came out and the lights out, and he came out. He had a moment. And he almost forgot him. Julius Peppers, say a bum. could have been way better. It's like he got devoid of all what he had, and after the steroids, what happened? I mean, think about it. Kind of forgot about the lights out. Remember? Did the lights out dance? Because he was dominant at one point, and he looked like he was going to be. And if I'm out of the two, he's more closer to bum level than Sean Merriman is. Sean Merriman is more closer than never was. We if we ain't sports aficionados or fans, we don't talk about. No one talks about him. He wasn't dominant. He had a great game. He had to though. That's how we want to talk about bums. Two bums. Two in the West. There ain't no championship teams there. It's battling and going at it, but you know, them teams' heyday is over. The Lakers and Golden State ain't no threat unless the refs get paid off. Ain't no threat. I don't get excited about no 500 teams struggling, almost 50 games in the season. 144, 145, 144 in double overtime. Just shows me two teams don't play no defense. Now this gonna be a hot take here. He might be and never was. You see, he ain't changed nothing, and they didn't tune him out. You know, the pieces and places were in part in there ain't really. And the whole thing with Draymond is making him look embarrassing. So if you turn it on with another switch, you figure out. I'm gonna address that. So was Mike Brown the X factor? Was even Luke Walton? Like it's starting to become like you kind of scratching your head, and you know the team gets older and the league caught up, but you kind of wonder he's gonna have almost because Eric's supposed to, even though they don't win. No, Miami's always a threat to go to the finals. They've been in the two finals the last 4 years. Been these ain't no Clay over there. So how is one coach still? And before you don't come at me about the East being softer than the West because it's not. Mine tells me no. Okay, Pop, but in his great coach, and he had implemented a system that worked. It never was when we talk about Pop is post Kawhi Leonard. That's where I'll give you that. Because where he ran Kawhi out and they thought they were funny, sending him to Saudi Arabia and Toronto. Thing and Parker, and he was able to bring another thing that hurt Pop was they Jackson they needed a shooter, and that hurt him some years. But the Kawhi Leonard thing is his Belichick ghost. And I'm not putting Kawhi Leonard in the same conversation with Brady in terms of but they are great in their respective careers. And Kawhi is considered one of the 75. What do you do when you let a ring go out the door? What do you do when you let a superstar go out the door? What do you do? Yeah, Spo does. They do. Still you, Caleb Martin and Max, that when they go to other teams, they don't look so great, do they? But they shoot threes and they fit in good in Heatland. Well, because he's not asked to overdo anything, and he actually he's elder statesman, so he can score his assists. Depending on it. Get out of here. He was in great shape. They told him to tank, and then they able to get Duncan. They always got some way of always landing something they need. Just the GM, he's one of the greatest GMs in any sport. However, how is it they always seem to land that dude? Yeah, okay. Wink, wink. Yeah, Caleb is a never was without Miami, and Vincent is a never was for the Lakers because they just asked him to hit the rotate threes. He's not giving D'Lo no problem. That's why Russell, they're thinking maybe we get somebody low. Problem is that in Miami he did hustle shots and he made hustle points. That's what he did. Okay, and those guys did hustle points and hustle moves, but they're not. Those guys are never wases. Okay, they're not bums. They're just never wases. They just happen to play for organizations that they hit some big plays and they play with systematic coaching and everything lined up. You really believe that? As a Heat fan, heck no. No, 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 no. Nobody wants him. What's up, Dre Chili? What's happening? What's up? Peace and blessings. Right on. No. There's a reason why the Lakers keep like the side chick and knowingly know that they can get him back when they want him. Because he's just, you saw last night was a microcosm of his career. Miss all them turnovers and all that mess. And then, but he's so frustrated. And the thing is, they want to get something for him. They're not going to get, no, I don't want him. He'd be frustrating in Miami. Because what can he do? You know, what's he going to do? What has given you indication is going to morph into some Nick type because he's left handed or he going to, you know, I think you saw two offers. I saw that. It came on my feeder. Maybe tomorrow I might. Yeah, he do be he scored 30 for Philly center. Embiid is a diva, wants things to be a certain way. Yeah, I didn't I saw they don't really we're not really that big. My thing is I want to see you pass the second round if you can get past the second round. I don't even really talk about Embiid. I'll give him the first round, but he's a second round casualty. So that's why I don't really go in about all his process and antics and all that parts of Jokic stuff. Not when it count, you know. But Embiid's done this whole thing through his career. Well, when you say he's a bum, and you talking about his because he's been consistent. He been full of himself. He been arrogant. He been smug. He's basically like the entertainer. No different than Harvey Weinstein. Nothing new. Um, been allowed to be gangster. He pimped an agenda. And if I call him a bum, that means that like he changed his morals and he went a certain way. He never had no morals. So therefore he is what he is. See, there's some people they are what they are. He never had morals. I forgot the rest that came on and said he got assaulted and yeah, I would give him for what he did on that wrestling federation was gangster because all that with Hogan and Roddy Piper and all that blew that up, made it household. All that got blowed up. Smart business, but he always been a scumbag. He always been, came out and said they got, you you think it's tough for cats to come out today and say that Puffy or somebody violated him or something? What do you think it was like then? And let me in and let you on a secret. The sports world ain't that different than the music and the movie industry. They got cats and they got cats that will meow for $1. Okay? Just saying. Some people don't understand when you say Sylvester's the cat and they say meow, but they got them there. The sports cats have been violated too, and they still are. It's just that nobody believes a big, strong, six-pack cat walking around flexing, you know, had to give, you know, cheeks for checks, the booty for the looty. But believe me, and that, they got to deal with their own versions of Fleece Johnson. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you. I didn't heard some stuff, so you know. When I call it a sports plantation, what you think happens on plantations? Well, yeah, because in wrestling, you wanted to be the big dude, and it was white business, and level or even Atlas. I'm talking about a black superstar that transcended. But you gotta remember something. The Rock had to hold John Cena. He cool, but he didn't have the charisma the Rock's got. But what they do, you see what they do. You know, they make Hulk Hogan on a house on there. Yeah, oh yeah, I love it alone. Cause I used to watch Mid South Wrestling. Was a ref. Yeah. Maybe he pimped to the back. Maybe he had the Superfly going to the back. Little titty long back in the day. And them cats get pimped. They they get like burlesque dancers in there. They put them in the outfit. A lot be going on. A lot. No, yeah. You gotta do. You gotta perform. They treat you like a trick. Do all that stuff, but they had to. That's their. Mm-hmm. That's big business. The little guys work every day of the year, hours, and if you build a name, you had to do something strange. Probably did. Probably did. If he did say it to Ron Simmons, he would say it kind of like where he's standing with three guys because cats don't forget that, you know. And because the guy gets accepted, Male sis love, no race, but he said to his wife, and because he was, but these guys say it. They say it. And people, they go through that part where it's obvious that all as kids or their parents slap their face like what happened with Jane Fonda from her daddy Henry, that they get called out on don't say that. And especially in that time because only white pushed agenda. Black success stories in that particular line of entertainment, you know. Yeah, Bret Hart did. Yeah, I heard about that. I did. Bret Hart heard about that. But you gotta remember something. We coming from your era, my era stuff. There's one Dwayne Rock Johnson. There wasn't no black cats in the rest of the world that were getting house. John Cena was bigger, Flair was bigger, Hulk Hogan was bigger, Roddy Piper was bigger. See, I can name the white boys left and right, and they crossed over. Rich Savage, they were huge. They were huge. So, you know, it's a good old boys club, and they got their own way of doing stuff. Like I said, stuff, you know. And I know that there was cheeks for Luke. Mhm. I can tell you that because I can tell by the way some of those cats had to blow up. They had to give up something to get what they got. So, oh yeah, oh yeah. And remember something, he was promoted as a crossover Negro too. He had that high top, Mario Van Peebles high top, almost curl up there. Cause they was like a nice bronze, but he had a nice American like sing, you know. But yeah, they did because he was crossed over. It's like Bubba Wallace. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True that about Pat Peterson. Yeah, yeah, but like I just said, you and see one thing about when you black and you dealing with that money, right? You gonna get caught all kinds of things, but they know they also gotta kind of lay off a bit because they need you for tokenism. They need you money with Tiger Woods. But make no mistake about it, just like Serena Williams went through it, especially when you in a particular field or line of entertainment or work where ain't a lot of you there, you gotta be good. And then yeah, I used to like Booker T, but they bought and paid. Most of them are. Most of them are. The reason why they are is because that's the only half the dollars they get. Rock was an anomaly. That's not the norm. That's not the norm. He just happened to have appeal, and he also looked crossover enough where he almost didn't look too threatening, big. But the only time, and when he gets broken down, is when you hear Warren Sapp talk about. Because Warren Sapp said I had to take his. He wasn't that memorable in college football. Tried, he's big, but again, he found the lane. He had a big, So, but rest because they really don't specialize on you up per se. Whoever saw it in The Rock, more power to them. They caught that one, and they've been needing one black, but you just don't, because as big as they are for their Junkyard Dog doubled up with Stagger Lee. And he was big. Kamala didn't get that kind of look. Kamala was a freak, you know, but again, but, so yeah, we haven't really talked about that, but yeah, that's one of them things that's true. About him forever and a day. He was. Rocky was good. But he didn't have the crossover that his son got. See, and that's the point I'm trying to say. They didn't do that for black wrestlers back then. When his dad was doing it, if you kept a regular gig, cool. And if you got some TV time and you had some love, cool. But all this belt endorsements and merch and hyping you, heck no. See, everybody loved Ali, so they say, but they never wanted they didn't want a black dude to be that dude. Not on that level. Not on that level. So, you know. So it's still fairly new. It's fairly new. Yeah, I just got through talking about Sweet Chaperon. Yeah, Kamala was Skandar Agbar. That was a big thing because that was when the top bar. Remember King Kong, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, the Road Warriors, all that. You know, but the Road on TBS, TNT, all that. It's over. We had Flair, and they were big. They were big. It was the crossover, so it was kind of like in a nice condo or a nice crib. You had like a nice Tudor style mansion. McMahon gave you a 5 to 10 room mansion. Yep, the Hart family, Valentine family, all that. Remember all that? Dusty Roads, all that. We had all that. Harley race, all that. Uh, the one that they had, what I was on and what McMahon had was bigger. Jake the Snake, all that. They were bigger because heck of a marketer. You know, he marketed. He was a marketing genius. I couldn't stand that turkey. Still, his marketing game. That white boy cold. That white boy cold because he made wrestling household. The X factor for the Ravens, it's not even so much as a player. It's that okay, if we're going on the offensive side of the ball, gotta be able to stay out of third and long. No punting, no fumbling, no turnovers. You gotta play a near flawless game because Kansas City is gonna get that streak on you. On the defensive side, they can't let them run, and they can't let Kelsey post up. To do the things, don't do like Buffalo did, and you can't. Yeah, they're playing more conservative. My female crushes are kind of few and far in between because I'm gonna tell you why. I didn't really pay a lot of the WWE as much attention. So I like a lot. Just keep up with a lot of them. I respect him because his hustle is no joke. However, personally, he's just another racist white boy. Well, on offense, they got to figure out a way to. I'd have to say hit some quick hitters. He's 6, 7 yards. like go through cadence. But your Isaiah go off. You can't let Kelsey stand and get 5-yard plays over the middle. They can't let them grind on clock. Kansas City will actually try to grind on them. Turnovers is huge. Don't turn the ball over. Because, and the scary part, Mahomes is good for a blow-up game. He really blowed up in a minute. That's the scary part. So that's the problem they got to run into. If Lamar control the tempo, hit some play action, then they keep themselves fresh. Don't get into a lot of drawn out with them, though. Don't do that. So that's my keys to that. We'll see how it play out though. But that's my thoughts on that though. So I'm doing those things right there. We'll see how it play out. We'll definitely see how it play out. Yeah, well, you let him find him, but it's how he finds him. If he finds him on them like the Bills did, where he pounding them, then you're see if Kelsey's flirting with 30, 40 yards before halftime, you in trouble. If he's looking at 90, I don't think he can beat him like that. So I think they do for a breakout with the receiver. He's not hot seat yet. He's not hot seat because he's in the AFC Championship game. He's hot seat next year though, if they struggle and even gets good. That division is a lot better than people give it credit for. I don't think he's hot seat because I think he got him a pass for this year. But Lamar's hot seat because Lamar needs to take it to the next step. That's hot seat because people will come along and say, "Well, your season wasn't all complete." Harbaugh's not hot seat. I don't think that anybody. I don't think that they really thought much about Harbaugh really. So he's somewhere along the line. Harbaugh would be in hot seat though if Flacco and Cleveland had got deep and Flacco had pulled his January magic. Then that starts to come back like, uh-oh. But facing Mahomes, now the only way he's in hot seat is if Kansas City spanks that butt 35-10 or 40-7. He gets housed by 14 to 20 points. Yeah. He needs to win, but he don't really have to win. I mean, now Shanahan got to win. Now that's the coach that's on the hot seat. That's hot seat. McCaffrey can be okay because he can say that. Well, because let's be realistic, they haven't really been. They were fortunate against Green Bay. I told you before, if LaFleur had a little better plan, they might have beaten them last week. Carolina quite like that. I mean, yeah, he could run, and he might say he's the best. You can make that argument, but I don't look at him. Uh, and LaFleur, your coach could have coached a little bit better. They had him on the ropes. I mean, if I tell you a game that close, and you got them 21-17 that late, because Shanahan's cheeks was tight. Believe me, all on his behind. No one talks about him because they always like to talk about how great a coach is. I'm like, y'all like the freaking Celtics of Tatum and Brown. Y'all been knocking on the door, been at the door, but you can't get in. You got the keys, but you still can't open the door. You get the wrong key in. Oh, no. Himself a pass because Jordan Love got him to the second round. But he is questionable. I agree with you. Two things can be true at the same time. He bought him a pass, but he is suspect. And if Jordan, then his butt's in real trouble. But I'm a pass for another year. He's easily going to make it through next year. But in 2 years' time, That's when his clock's ticking. Once he's 20. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Well, we, you know, seeing ghosts when he gets in the big games. That you ever listen to a music artist or something? You say, "Oh, they got the 8 to 9 of it right, like the vocals, but they missing that one thing that would make that a classic." That's him, and his reluctance in spots. What he's willing to do is another matter. Favre, but see, Favre wanted to beat because he felt like he never belonged there. So you know he wanted to take it to Brady. You know he would by any means. Aaron is so cocky that he's like, okay, well, we're equal. He realizes his own strength, and sometimes and then he ends up taking them unnecessary beatings, which he did. So, yeah. But Favre also, too. They both are Woody Welcome, but in different ways, though. You know, with no. Favre was just erratic, though. Aaron be thinking too much, and then he gets himself in trouble. But his skill set, you see, his bum behavior's got more to do with him settling, but his strength did it. Favre earned his position. Favre because he was always a slinger and he, did what got him over. But you're talking about a guy who's one of the most gifted players as opposed to a guy who worked. They both worked their butt off, but Favre really had to work his behind off. You know. Or let me put it like this: where I'm going with this. Aaron Rodgers was like Michael Jackson to Brett Favre's Janet Jackson. Michael was like a natural, and it flowed. It's hard to get to where she got, and then when she got there, then she asserted herself. That's how Brett Favre is. There's the Daryl Strawberry Barry Bonds thing. Strawberry was the natural. Great. You can even say Griffey Jr. had it like that. Bonds made himself great, turning stuff. So Ricky been better. He could have been better. He settled and he had a lot of mental issues, and so that could have been a Herschel Walker 2.0 but a better version for NFL career. So could have been. Dylan Wood, he had attitude issues, but he worked out good for New England. He worked out good for New England. Ain't call him a bum. He putting from debating who got Hall of Fame potential, who may have been better. I don't think Corey got with the right situation helped his career. You know, so those are good. Could have been a way better. So those are two good takes, though. Hmm. Two good takes. I never was. Now, if you ask me about him as a commentator, he's good commentator because he did lose his job to Tony Romo, and he's in the wearing because he was special. He was tough against the Broncos, yes, and he had a big game. He never was. He never was this guy. He had a quarterback that I sat there and researched him. I'm not talking about. And there are people still debate if he ain't worthy. Think about it. Just telling you. He get to a Super Bowl. Different team. And again, it's not fair to in his defense, Boomer Burrows got bigger. So even though he had Isaac Curtis and what they had, they were never really a powerhouse. So he never really made it to bum level because they weren't really consistent. So I can't really feel that way. Fouts, you could call him a bum for the simple fact around him. Charlie Joyner, John Jefferson, um, Wes Chandler. You can debate that against Miami. That was the craziest. Yeah, because he had all that. Yeah, I said it. You can quote me. Yeah, because I'm like, do you realize the caliber of talent? Because they predated Marino and the Marx brothers. I told you, if I was a Charger fan, I would be in a nut house. Because Stan Humphrey is the only quarterback that had taken to a Super Bowl. And Fouts, Drew Brees, Justin Herbert. First time. And they had LaDainian Thompson Bowl appearance with Stan Humphries. Yeah, I'm calling him a bum. Williams, Marinus Williams, I wouldn't call him a bum. What he did. I don't call him a bum. I don't call him a bum. Okay, Bradshaw and OJ. Bradshaw overachieved. He wasn't even the best quarterback Joe Gillen was. Passes. He took a pound. He was an overachiever. He ain't seen as overrated. He really wasn't that good, but I can't bum because he overachieved. He did something that if we were really going by quarterbacks, I got Roethlisberger is a better quarterback than Bradshaw. But it's not hardly. But OJ was great. OJ's one of the greatest ever. Last year's in Frisco, he was past the pull date and the legs were shot. But hey, the so great that they don't even put Starbuck in him over him. He was a standard, so no. Miami, that was a bad joke. He was great, one of the greatest ever. He didn't fall off. They just didn't win, but it wasn't on him. He great. Underrated. Underrated. No, he was good. Anybody, the greatest show on turf, you could have probably said he stunk. I'll give you that. You could have said that. I stunk. But to come back with the way he did, lead him to Super Bowl with Fitzgerald, he shut a lot of people up who thought he was a gimmick. I don't know if they wanted to McNair, I know how it ended with Ball team to the Super Bowl. He almost won that large, and he was a meaty kind of some of the other black quarterbacks in terms of the when you think about this the naturalness of Michael Vick. So yeah, for the same puffy print where he does gospel music because he's all flamboyant and gyrating and at all. He hasn't changed at all. Um, it was great in the '90s with Stomp. I loved his old stuff, but no, Kurt's bought and sold, and he's more close to the little. I liked him back in the day when I bought his book. I know about his story, but it ain't aged well. He's a bum. Could have been more important. Jaheim is a never was. He can sing. They want him to be like Luther light Luther, but he's a never was because to be a bum, it means that he did an Aretha Franklin tribute. He was singing to her, and he didn't make her hair float. He has a voice, but he don't have the depth. So he's a never was. The actor, I'd say a never. I mean, I like White Man Can't Jump. You know, he had some moments, and actually, his whole thing with his dad is pretty sad and all that. But okay, but Woody is a never was to me. Because aside from a big movie that he did, which was on a hustle, and I know I with Cheers and all that, but I just never really, it's not like we're gonna talk about a guy who goes from TV to film in the same sentence with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. Too. I don't look at him like that. So he falls in that second, third tier shift, and I don't really what Woody Harrelson is that dude. Wesley, boom, coulda, shoulda, woulda been. Because from the Bad video with Michael Jackson till what was it? That movie that came out in '94 that I like. Uh, oh God, it's after it was he did that movie in '94. But anyway, Wesley had it going on, and he came back with Wait and Exhale, and he had some moments, but we didn't get him. He just settled. So yeah, bum. Should have been way more because he had a chance. He had a chance, and he just kind of settled. And then he did all the black action heroes pre Panther and all that because Wesley was doing Blade Part 88. But so the runway train, all that gimmick stuff. I know Woody was in see Cameron, Jennifer Garner. Like, got the right face vibe. Actually, the closest thing to her voice could have been better. She does have some Morris chestnuts on open fire. That's what we called him. I never was. Because, I mean, two can play that game part 88 with Vivica Fox on directed. He never was the black leading man that you thought he was. He was supposed to Michael B. Jordan before him. He was supposed to be Wesley in between. I mean, he does the same role over and over, best man, he big brother, who, you know, She tries to be too thick and doesn't have a balance. He's a never was. You know, I think he's cool. We feel his work like that. I don't feel that. Schmear more. We call him old Schmear. Schmear. Um, Schmear is a never was because again, in soap opera, when I mean his movies, his little, try Soul Train, corny. Like he doesn't even have Donald Faison or Nick Cannon's charisma to pull off even generic, and they've tried. They really. I'm okay. I know he does it. I know he does SWAT. SWAT's been on for 80 years, and I guess they will say that's like his equivalent to Ice-T younger style. Schmear doesn't do much for me. I don't. I don't. No, he was a model. You know. Um, good looking cat as a model with the bracket. What's he got? The SWAT thing? I mean, he don't really. I'm gonna get to that. Michael B. Jordan, overrated but good, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because his whole thing is male lead, and it fits a demographic, but to flex, kind of like they do Jonathan Major. Pre Part 88 as we talk right now, but he has a lane. It becomes bum if he don't out of it, but he's got a lane. Ice T, smart, not a bum, and because he diversified his portfolio. The rapper, he was the best contradictory rapper. Tupac came along because he had crazy appeal with white folks, but yeah, the hood appeal had this old pimp vibe, but yeah, had a modern day player vibe. So he kind of circulated. If he had some range to work with, he'd become more like Adolf Caesar. If you remember a soldier story, that's where Ice T would go. But he been able to circulate. The reason why I don't call it a bum because he knocked out big on movies and he knocked out big on music and he knocked off big on film. And we don't in the same vein as Will Smith or Ice Cube for doing it, but he did dominate all three in his own way and did it, yeah. And we go back to when he was in Breaking 40 years ago. So, yeah, he created an interesting lane, you know, bum, but because it didn't go nowhere, and he always tried to be he wanted to be, and he definitely loves that pop love, and you know, he always want to be heavier than thou, and he doesn't like other black directors per se blowing up, but so it's bummy. Could have been more. Could have been more. Because his stories could have definitely evolved more. So I'll say boom. Lee Daniels will never. I know you're gonna get me about his film career and Empire and stuff. Is a broke Tyler Perry. I just don't, it's there, but it's kind of like on the BET which movement, but I'm not blown away. Charlie Sheen's broke Tom Cruise with his daddy Martin, downplay his Mexican ethnicity, had crossover, but always was like just like Chris O'Donnell. They were like broke Tom Cruise clones. I loved Wall Street. And he had another movie. He he just never really showed me no range. And to be honest with you, I know 2.5 Men was big and all that, but really, he never went nowhere. He never went nowhere. Thing. And then, and it's not like he's Mickey Rourke or something that made a great film and then I thought, okay, he wasted talent. I thought he was something. No, he just was a broke Tom Cruise clone. They don't talk about white folk like that. But I know how his hairstyle was and Wall Street and his imagery, what they was trying to do, make him very Anglo. And he had to go for a moment, but he didn't really go nowhere. He was still second tier to me. She's good, you know, because she plays that role real well, and she's got a strong character, TV and film. So she's good. Pesci, I love Pesci because he overachieved. He was short cat who had probably had to deal with the engine bull to Goodfellas, but his comedy work. And I love my cousin Vinny. That's one of my go-tos. He's kind of a Cedric the Entertainer vibe because he needs someone bigger to use to carry him, and that's where he gets his strong suit. I think we did this one. I say he never was. Tom Selleck never was. And I'm gonna tell you about Selleck. Yeah, Magnum it was like a broke what's that dude? Sam can't think of the kid named Sam, white dude, did movies. Selleck never really blew up with the big screen. Never blew up. Not like that. Those type of thing. Never did. Stiff. TV, he had a couple movies, but he was never that dude. Not like that. Not for that hype, you know. Not for the hype. I always thought he was kind of too milk toaster. Because if he had any kind of career, he'd been giving Kevin Costner a run because he had the pull. He settled. He settled. And that's all he really had. That's all he really had, to be honest with you. Type cat. Not great, not didn't get had moments, but he also, Matrix did wonders for him. Certain things didn't. They're kind of like Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell on the screen if you think about it. So he got Chuck Norris. Yeah, you can say a bum. It didn't really enhance anything, but it didn't work. He stayed in the lane and he got over. You know, Seagal is never was because the action thing, and then what? It's kind of like John Claude Van Damme. Then what? So you Norris, I'd say a bum. He stayed in the lane, but he had credibility. Seagal, no. Those are some good names that you mentioned over here. Those are the ones, yeah. You know, Bert is the definition of bum, but it worked in his favor. You know, Stiller, his lane. I mean, for me, I like something about Mary. He has his lane. It'll be bummy because it's the same shtick, and most of them do fall in the same shtick with actors. Most of them are bums because they I was able to pull it off because they fall into a certain category, so they're only going to be as good as what their work is. You know, um, So I would say Bombay like that. He has some movies that I like. I feel he's kind of overrated. His daddy was funny. His daddy has some funny moments. So that's how I look at it. Honest, you know. I mean, all the movies with De Niro were big though for his career, so that's what gives him, you know. He just like kind of like Ice T, because you got to respect the fact that he was dominant in music, dominant in TV. The movie thing is a bum. Maybe I was okay. I take that back. The movie thing was a never was. I mean, he had to leave it, but he did have some success. But overall, for his career, he got over. If I weigh everything, because he did have some success with the films, but T dominated. He did comedy, and then he did serious stuff because this whole SI thing and in the house with I found Roberto. So, and right now with that show with him and Chris O'Donnell, he's got more respect as an actor with that and certified with everything he did. I mean, he's one of my favorite MCs ever, but if I don't really encounter LL again per se, I'm cool because he tap dances a lot. But I will give him his props for his career. Mike Bibby's a never was because aside for the steroid run with the Sacramento Kings, what did he cool? I like him personally. He's cool, but he sucked in some other places, and he just was big and bloated. I never really felt his game. He's kind of like the Vin Diesel of basketball. He had a moment with he had a moment he had a moment with Sacramento, but boxing scheming more than he did. Mike Tyson, he's good. He had a great career. I mean, I know it didn't, but he was dominant. So I'll never. So he had a personality and charisma. He trains interest about him. He'll always be a compelling figure. And I always used to Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan had pay-per-view specials. Tyson would mount the floor and both of them put together because he's more compelling. He, I never really past Sacramento. I never really cool dude, but I wasn't really scared of his game. Richard Hamilton was. I know he was clutch in college, and I know he was clutch with the Pistons. But remember, he was with the Wizards, and Jordan was talking about exercise and getting your body together, and he was talking about I'm not really. He wasn't really prepared. He got ran out the league with the Bulls. He was still young, could play. They had no use for him, so he's a never was to me. And again, Joe Johnson overachieved, but I respect him. I respect him. Could have been better. Thought he was better than he was, and Pierce was something else, but he just, he wanted the lifestyle. He kind of, and he could have been a really good, very good. Thought he was better than he was. Him, as a 3-point shooter, I give him a pass. You know, Mark Eden was a never was. He sucked. He was just big, but he didn't do nothing. 7'4", he didn't do nothing. Aside from blocking shots, what did he do? He couldn't stop Kareem. He didn't do it. Karl Malone and Stockton come there to take him to the next level. Was I didn't stutter. Which is big, goofball, one of them Jack and the Beanstalk knocking tree down white boys who just wasn't that offensively skilled, and they always underachieved. The end. Oh, you can go look it up if you don't believe me. 'Cause Eaton wasn't much better than Ostertag. That's what hurt Karl Malone and Stockton from winning the chip. They tried. Lord knows they found the white boys in the back. The white boy too. There was another one that was there. They tried him out too. He sucked too. No, he wasn't no scrub. He was a never would. Because after Shaq slapped him and took his hood from him, he sucked. Oster was a never was. Just big, soft, big old goofy, eating corn on the cob white boy who just never had. They were trying to Ronnie Cycle in '98. And Ronnie was like, I ain't going to Utah. Ronnie had too much tan and too much fun at the beach. Turn him down. Stockton out. Had they had a big man to go with him and Jeff Hornacek, with the way Jerry Sloan coached, probably win a chip. Didn't get it. Kersey was good. I'll say a bum. Could have been more. Could have been more. Could have been more. But them white boys eating an oyster tag, heck no. Them turkeys, no. No. Knowing both of them. I remember them. They were part of the Sean Bradley fan club. There's some corny white boys that the NBA had. No. Pierce is great, but he blows his horn. He overblows his horn. He made it. He made it. Kenny Anderson, bum, could have been better. I like Kenny a lot. Arrogance got the best of him. We didn't get the best of that guy. Could have been better. I liked him. Mookie Blaylock overachieved, but I got respect for him. If Trey Young had Mookie's heart, Atlanta would be a threat. Because Mookie believed in Mookie when no one else did. And Mookie like he smoked them cigarettes, like he smoked them Newports. But he played. I like Mookie. They were guaranteed to get to the second round. And you know, it might not sound like a big deal, but you got to remember something. They weren't that deep of a team. So Mookie gets my respect. Pierce is great, but he overblows his horn a bit too much for my taste. He tends to overblow his own horn. So yeah, Kenny was good, but arrogance and too much smug. Alvin Robinson had that outer body quadruple, but I'd say you know one of them guys that to at least better consistency. I never felt that we got the full zenith though, so I can't go back. Gervin is one of the greats. George Gervin is one of the best pure off athletic forces I've ever seen. ABA, NBA. He never had the right situation with the team. Different NBA. Who knows what situations would have been like? Might be. And when he scored 70 points in the game, that mattered. Not this guy now. Buck Williams overachieved, strong, athletic, built cat. Just the timing. Buck would be a beast right today. He give you that double double. So he's unsung. And he played today. He would definitely be feasting. So there you go. They cracked me up. They asking about Belichick's on me. Mullins um, could have been better. But I don't know about the dream team. I mean, he had some handles and some moves, but when he went to Indiana, he was seven. Yeah, I didn't quite get that. He was great in college. Had some moments, not big. Bonus senior, one of my favorite players. he's an incomplete because he didn't come over to play with Portland. Portland, he would have been a precursor to Jokic. Avidas had crazy. He was a better point guard than Damon Stoudemire when he was like 39. Okay, I know, but no, he was older than that. But he had Shaq out on the perimeter. I mean, he was a worry today. He make his son look like a woman. How scary! Like, because he was over there. I saw highlights and stuff going up, but take my word on it. Sabonis Senior was precursor to Jokic. He was a freak. Yeah, a senior was a baller, man. He had handle. Mark Jackson, bum, believe it. Thought he was too slow, or he just didn't really his pacing. I like Mark. All right, he kind of smart dude, but got more out of him. So, but Sabonis, know me. We're getting into these discussions. Arvidas was one of my favorite players. That's the guy I wish had came to the NBA. Mark Gasol, because Mark Gasol is a better top of the key shooter than Paul. Paul Sabonis could do that, and Sabonis could post, and so yeah, and he didn't have the wheels and the handles, and he still was enough for Shaq to deal with. And he was doing this in the '90s and the early '00s. Remember that? Because he didn't even he ain't gonna, and that's when foreign cats had to still prove their worth on the NBA when you still had to bring it. So just remember the era he did it in, and let's go back how he would have been with Portland, with Terry Porter, with Clyde, with Kersey, with them cats. Think about it. He'd have probably given Kareem and Robert Parrish and Moses Malone a hit if he had came over. I mean, he had that kind of skill set. So that's how I look at him. He's one of them big what ifs. You know. Yeah, he was athletic and he could move. You know. But an interesting way he would have been on the NBA all time centers food chain where history would have painted him. Because I'll be honest with you, he goes to Portland and he's prime and peak and they do what they do. He probably submitted more freakier than Walton. Walton was tall and strong and athletic, and Walton was a handful. Walton was one of the few cats who could go against Kareem peak prime, but Sabonis was beating you with inside outside. Yeah, Pippen had to have that to beat Shaq. If Pip goes back to what Larry Bird said, Larry Bird said the best about Pippen. With Michael Jordan, he's a top 5 player. Without Jordan, he was in the 20 range. He just never was a leader. He needed a guy like that to beat Shaq and Field, and then Jordan teaming up because he wins a couple rings or 3 with Sabonis. Then he's got that. It makes him look even greater. Think about it. He was a settler. Thank you, and that's the reason why he's never greater than Jordan and why he'll never be greater than a borderline top 50 of where they got him because he didn't show much. He had a 94 year. MVP did good, and they did win 50 plus the Lakers. You win that game in LA, you probably break up Shaq and Kobe, and Phil doesn't look so great. You go off and you beat Bird and the Pacers, and you beat Reggie Miller. Top the numbers scoring wise and stuff. You make a compelling case, and suddenly we're having a bigger discussion. Is Scottie Pippen a top four as opposed to being in the what 24 to 34 club? That's how big that losing that series was to his legacy, and they never got back there again, and he never had that form again. And he had Rick Alderman as his coach. So just saying, it don't. If I'm in my home, top two, but his body of work would have to say, would they put the Tiger Woods label on him? If he'd have beaten him and won the Super Bowl against, then you make a more compelling case. But it's really he's still top three right now to me. Brady and Montana got him beat right now, and that's with that. And I don't hold that AFC Championship game against him. You know the Super Bowl. I don't hold the AFC Championship game against him. Brady made some big plays, so he's still top three regardless. Brady has to beat him twice to his lead. Thank Mahomes is, and there is truth to that because Mahomes can go off and win 3 rings before he's 30. You know, and he has to win about 4 or 5, and then it's like a tie. I don't look at Brady as his rival though. That's the thing because the thing about it is, New England was that, but would I hold it against him? I don't hold that in his championship game against him. If that's the case, you hold Joe Burrow beating him, and Joe Burrow ain't win no ring. Joe Burrow got on a rub, but he ain't seeing Mahomes level, and Mahomes got MVPs too. So Mahomes' career ain't over. Now, if he goes a decade, happens the next couple of years, but I don't look at it as it's not a I don't look at it. I don't. I don't even look at Brady and Manning. Mahomes just happened to be there, you know. But he shut everybody up last year by winning without Tyreek Hill and being a league MVP and being a Super Bowl MVP. So he's top three, which ain't bad. He passes Montana because 3 rings would do that. I don't know if it'll hurt Lamar because Lamar is not seen quite in that. But if he wins a ring, gets a Super Bowl MVP and wins, they can't downplay him no more. He be one behind him. He won't get the Mahomes love, but he'll be like seen like a Phil Mahomes is Tiger Woods in terms of the depth. But if he gets it and he wins, let's just say it cements his leg. He doesn't have to do another thing, and then he might get cracked top 10 quarterbacks ever. That's how big a run this year could be for him. If he seals the whole deal, he could probably be in the top 10 argument. I'll say that for him. This is more solidified. It's different levels. So think light skin, got the little semi Jerry curl, the hair, and they do like the crossover look, brother. But they skip his ways, racist ways, and they just now letting cats get through. So no, the way he played, Marvin was unassuming. He had Reggie Wayne as a backup. James, he still had these horses. See, as bad as a tight end, yes, you can make the case he's in that top five argument tight ends ever. We're gonna rank it, right? But it ain't like that receiver. Tyree Belichick gonna stay unemployed because they're not gonna because of the Brady reality. That ring, that ring, that ring in Tampa Bay, and they gonna poker post by guy. You stuck with Mac, you know. His problem, he stayed in New England too long. He should have quit when Brady got traded. We never would have known. But he sat there with mac and cheese. The team out 4 or 5 games, skinny, and it still didn't matter. Their defense ain't that bad. They good enough to win about 7 games. His ego got for at least a couple of years. That's you just don't let a ring go out the door. They're like, no, 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 no. Belichick said something stupid. If he never gets another job again, that's because he did said something stupid. He told that man that Brady was washed. Okay, let that sink in. Brady won a playoff game. They beat Philly, lost to the Rams, who went on one pick six variety show. Mentally screw up people because they allowed him to. Arrogance did him, and the arrogance has got his butt on the couch just like us. To make America great again, cap wearing. Robert Kraft never really was. Kraft respected him, but he's looking at him like this a white power play right here. He didn't know. And he downplayed Brady. He thought Brady was like lucky to be there, and he was. But the problem is that the cats revolved around Brady. Even Danny Warchek, the white cat, third tier cats gave it up for Brady. Grunk went with Brady. Remember that? Think about it. Grunk left with Brady. Yeah, Grunk left with him. Well, cats come out and tell you every day Brady was the way. I know you're gonna see Keyshawn Johnson and them up there on TV talking about Will Belichick stuff. Skip Bayless got that one right. It was 75-25. It was Brady because Bruce Arians dissed Brady, but you saw Brady responded, and they won. They came up big. Sucked in Cleveland. Looked like he was a broke Olin Mills cameraman, defensive coordinator, defensive mind. Ain't much there. It ain't much there because without Omaha, he read your defenses, he read your plays, he knew the strengths. He actually, when he would throw passes and hit the secondary with the safeties, he was targeting things because he was coaching. You don't get that but once every 20 years. You better not do nothing stupid. Oh, because Belichick wasn't much without him. Andy Reid is a better coach without Patrick Mahomes in a good way. Now he might not won nothing, but you know, was not much. Just like Pete Carroll was not much. Not in Cleveland and New England when he got Russell Wilson, of course, in college. But Belichick was more coordinated. And there's a big difference. But you got to when you don't win, it shows. You come up short, it shows. That's what's up. So I'm just saying. So he did take a lot of hits. He was mobile, but he wasn't a movable quarterback. Things got more just to do with football. Yeah, but y'all hung on to But I understand what the 49ers thing. Still got knocked out against when Buffalo Bruce Smith whacked him in the JFC Championship game. He looked pretty good in Kansas City. Quarterbacks like they do now. So Montana, he was shot. That's what's up. So just saying. So, so that was. There was a lot going on with the Steve Young thing. You could almost say he was culture appropriate quarterback um, because he right quarterback that was running. They made a big deal about when he broke that tackle about Joey Brown and Minnesota and all that. That's what blew him up in that one game against. That's what got Steve Young over. No, he didn't. They got Randy Moss. That's what put his whole bio. I always liked him more than I did Manny because I thought he was poised and he could come up clutch. But when he had Randy Moss, that's when you start going, "Oh, this guy's on a," because he hit big. Because I remember when they had Troy Brown. Troy Brown was like the short order cook, the line cook, the dishwasher, and the main chef. He had to do all them things with the Patriots back then when they run. They didn't go and get Antonio Smith with the Bills didn't do nothing in Buffalo. Play with New England, he came up big. So their defense was great. They're underrated. McGinnis was led. Ty Law. Um, they were. They were. They were. They don't get there for the longest time. For the longest time. But they were well poised. You know, they were very poised. So that's why he looks great like he does too, because he didn't really, you know. Even in Tampa Bay was top 10 ever. Think about it. So, and when a tight end is bigger than your receivers, you look great. Just saying. Kansas City just scored, and they in trouble already. And letting Kelsey get off, you in trouble. Gotta be careful because, like I said before, you can't let him get going. You let him get going, it could be a long game. You know, I know how dangerous the game. It's still early, but I'm just saying, could be a long game. So he is. You know, the routes he runs, he can post you up. See, Gronk sometimes could be some timing, and then he gets going. Kelsey don't. When Kelsey's on, he on. He on. He on. And they quick. You know, so there's a different level to it. But I know one thing: you can't let them get going. Because I saw Mahomes' knees. He treat that like he's playing in his backyard. You know, I got much respect for Mahomes. I told you it's like the Steph Curry thing. You know, he you just expect it. So yeah, it's that target. That's the thing about Mahomes. Forget the antics and the athleticism. He hits targets. He got a under. He hits deep passes. He hits fades. Few people can hit that combo. Very few hit that combo. Very few. So, but I got respect for him. You know, will hit you on that stride, and he hits you on stride. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. The thing about Mahomes, it's like Steph Curry. Like Steph, his rhythm. Aaron Rodgers had that big heavy arm when he hit that. His targets are like there. Like he really hits his targets. So well, he did like over the middle. I'll give you that. But the type of strides they hit, Mahomes does his on the run. Now, when you can do it on the run like Mahomes does, that's more impressive. Brady was great pocket with it, but it's two different type of strides. Yeah, I hope so too. But there's going if there's a play or two, they might. It all depends. You know how these refs are, and they get bought and paid out by the commissioners. You know how they go. You know, I don't see why they wouldn't know. I wouldn't see anything that'd be too controversial because Baltimore's not as physical as they were with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. Them days is gone, and Kansas City hasn't had any real calls. I mean, not that I would say there's anything that I would say that was changing. So the refs take over when they get bought and paid to. That's what the powers that be want. But I can't say there's any powers that be work here. Some people got mad with that roughing the Mahomes play at the end of the game last year against Cincinnati, but he did get hit out of bounds. They gonna call that. The only scrambling quarterback that never had calls made for him was Cam Newton, but that's because Cam always put his head out and took those hits. But most time quarterbacks, you know, so I don't think I don't think they will. I don't like it either when refs take over. That's what messed up that Lakers Golden State game. All them free throws is too. I don't. You talk about you more points. You ain't playing no defense, so how are you gonna? Well, that's part called a superstar call, and you can debate that if you want. You're gonna get a superstar call. They have to know where their bread is buttered, and you do see acting. But Mahomes does take more shots than he gets calls too. He takes some helmet shots. That's why he kind of picks and chooses his runs now. So it is a little bit different. But you're gonna get a superstar call off. That's just part of it though. So you do get superstar calls. And I like to tell you differently, but you know, they got commercials to run and they've always done it. Nothing new. Baseball, they can get guys for, certain things if they choose to. So, it's just a matter of what they want to. Balls and strikes can be, you know, it's all objective. So, but that's not why you lose a game of him now. Green Bay just wasn't as sharp as they ended up being. I guess that's got a lot to do with your coach. Like I said before, you got a lot to look forward to next year. Jordan Love is nice. The floor's got to come back. They just got to pick up a couple pieces and places. That's a very competitive man's division you got with that NFC North. So I expect Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota. We'll see what happens with Minnesota. It depends on the quarterback. We'll see. We'll see. But just if Fields is still there, that's a 6-7 win maybe for the Bears. It's a competitive division. So we'll see. We'll see. We will see. We will see. Yeah, a couple, but I wouldn't say all. You're not that far off. You're not that far off. You just need to get, the floor just got to shorten his game up. You know, you're not that far off. I think you're not that far off because you could have beaten Frisco. So you're not that far off. Passes in the middle. Man, almost beat the 40. something to look forward to. You just got to get off to a better start. He got to stay away from a lot of picks, and they got football. You could be a problem. You could be a problem. So I'm gonna cool in about 5 minutes. So I got my 5 more minutes because I gotta eat and catch some of this. But yeah, y'all did pretty good though. And yeah, y'all did good. I think you might say you overachieved. But I think beating the Cowboys was big the way you waxed them. And then you went in Frisco and had them scared. So Detroit or Tampa Bay? Yes. I think it's physical, but I think you beat them. Tampa Bay, I know you beat them. Because Baker was getting ready to get shook. So but you got a promising, I think the next year or two, y'all could make some real noise. Because the NFC is open now, you know. Without Brady, without Aaron Rodgers, and do I like them? I know some personally, and they be obnoxious and talk trash. And I was a Bills fan. We tore they behind up, and the last time we played them, they crack 100 yards, even crack half his body weight, and waxed their butt. Just ran all over. They talk about yesterday what they did to us. No, because he shuffles too much, but that's what I look forward to because everybody knows how it's going to end. Everybody knows how it's going to end. So let them get but handed to them before long. They find ways to lose. They have. As long as they stuck with Meathead McCarthy, yeah. I know, like I said, I laugh at them. I say, ain't nobody taking y'all serious. Y'all still go for the okey doke. Y'all still go for the okey doke. Yeah, and he's so, but you know, they need a power back. They need another playmaker on offense, and they need a secondary something. They're just missing a couple. They don't have a leader. That's the problem with them on the football field. They don't have a leader, and they're missing. Okay, so we tired up those games 7-7. Jay Flowers, Lamar went and did it. They went for that fourth down. That was a turning point right there. So we'll see. Yeah. So anyway, I don't really get into like about that. I mean, he won them brothers, but it ain't gonna happen at all. And he gonna probably win out of Dallas. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Not going to happen. I think we're looking at the same thing every year. Anyway, I'll probably come back on tomorrow because I will have a recap about how the games ended. Um, Gonna eat, take care of stuff. Great to see you, cats. Appreciate you both coming through. And when it came through, thanks for the shout out. Be careful, stay warm, stay safe. Let me know how your team do. And if you got more topics that you want me to tackle, I'll tackle them. We come in here, tap everything. The live be on live. We definitely bringing it live. And it's cool to just like chop it up. So I want to come through, feel free. And yeah, how about them Cowboys? You know how they go. So I ain't got much more to say about that. They season been over. We knew that was gonna be over. And we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing how this game turns out. I'm more excited about, Kansas City Baltimore than I am about that second game. Because I don't those quarterbacks got a lot to prove. Who's got more to prove out of, we'll talk about it. All right, so I'm gonna step on out. Peace, the best, stay safe, stay warm. We'll chop it up. All right, I'm out. Peace.